Now the name of this town is Villefranche. I've been told you're all fluent French speakers, so you know the meaning of Villefranche, don't you? Ville means yes, town. Franche. Now don't say what you're going to say because it's wrong. Alright, this used to be Provence before it was the House of Savoy. Okay, so it wasn't French, it had almost like an Italianate sort of language going on. So it was called Villa Franca, and that Franca was eventually changed to Franche when it became French. So what does Franca mean? Count of Anjou, the Count of Provence, it was his idea to build a little town by the sea. Many people were up in these little perch villages, such as Ez. You might have heard of Ez. There's some lovely little perch villages along the mountains. Up there, because it was a lookout point, they could build their towns, camouflage the enemy coming from the sea. And they're all up there, and Charles wanted to bring them down. And he thought, well, I'll provide this, but I'll lure them down by saying, I won't charge you any tax. So that's what happened. It was a free town in those days. It's not anymore. It's part of France, as you know. Now, I know not everybody is of my mother tongue. Very large villa. That's the Villa Rothschild, built for the Baroness Ephrussi de Rothschild. She inherited her father's fortune. He was the regent of the Bank of France, 1904 to there. Those pyramids are a marina that was built by a Canadian called Minangoy back in the 70s. Beyond the Esterel range of mountains, a volcanic range of mountains, not the Alps. Just before that, another strip of land coming into the sea, and that's called the Bay of Antibes. And beyond the Esterel we can't quite see, but there are other mountains called the Moors, and they are in the region of the famous Saint-Tropez. Just before those Esterel mountains is a town called Cannes, of course, where the film festival takes place in May. Look at the lovely trees. A little banyan tree here. On the right hand side, anyone from Australia? Yes, well there we are. No. Yes, no. Work it out, tell me in a minute. Up there, we've just passed, it looks like a Christmas tree. But it's not, it's an araucaria, and it's a Norfolk Island pine from Australia. Another one from Australia is the eucalyptus, just here. Of course, the very first seed of eucalyptus sent by Joseph Banks when he was with Captain Cook in Australia back in the 1700s. Look at this villa, built by an Englishman with a very peculiar name. His name was Mr. Smith. And he had that built. It's now been divided into apartments. A gentleman who used to stay in Villefranche. Many ladies lost their hats into the sea at this place because of the wind. It's very windy up here. You'll see the same name at the end of the buildings.
Qué bueno que hoy no está windy.
¿Ah?
I love
Que dice que
Nice.
está bien.
Red, white,
Mucho
and
viento.
Oh.
need a chaise longue to be comfortable. There's some people in the sea.
Yo quiero ver la arena.
Mad dogs and Englishmen. Crazy people. Well, I was in the sea a few days ago. It's quite cold. It's cold when you're going in, but when you're in, it's okay. Le Ponchette. I was saying this to Antonio. These are former fishermen's cottages. And once upon a time, in many ways, the very first Promenade des Anglais was actually on top. People used to walk along the rooftops. Gents in their bowler hats and ladies with their parasols would enjoy watching the carnival. We have an extraordinary carnival here in Nice, and in those days I've seen pictures, old postcards of what they call the Bataille de Fleurs, the Battle of the Flowers. That's part of the carnival, and you have all these floats with all the flowers and mimosa. We have a lot.
De los rusos hicieron ese
If you're on
castillo.
the wrong side, just get the people who are taking good photos to airdrop you. That's what we do. We airdrop each other. Right. Coming up with the lady on the balcony is the Hotel Royal, and a cock in front, and people with lip heads. I don't know what that's all about. Ben and Jerry's, look, you can't get more French than that, can you? Westminster and Spa. Now that's taken on a new name. It always was called the Hotel Westminster. Now it's the Westminster and Spa. I imagine they must have a spa on 3 floors or something. Must have a very good spa in there. And the Hotel West End coming up. It's a very English name. And the most famous of all the hotels is the Negresco Hotel, coming up on the right hand side. We're also passing the Messina Museum, and a lovely garden in front of it. Look at that lovely garden there with palm trees. And they're doing some work on the Negresco, not good for your photographs unfortunately. Built in 1912. Architect called Neermans, the same architect who created the facade. That's all that's left of the original with this chappie, who had a very lovely Bugatti, and she kind of managed to talk herself into having a little ride in this Bugatti. She said, look, you know, maybe after dinner you can take me on a ride in your lovely Bugatti, sir. And he did. And there she was in the Bugatti. Good old that hotel, if ever you come here, has some wonderful art. Going back to the 3 Louis, the Kings.
Oh.